Hi, and welcome back to Mediterranean. I'm really excited because this is the first backpacking trip of the season. Today, we're out doing the Ozette Triangle in the Olympic National Park, pretty much right on the coast. And this trail is pretty special because this was my very first backpacking trip back in 2017 when I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't realize that people didn't pack 3 gallons of water in, that you could bring a water filter and just get your water on the trail. So I think my pack that first trip out was probably pushing 50 pounds, whereas today with water I think I'm right at 18 or 20. The trail is 9 miles total, 3 miles out to Cape Alava, 3 miles down the beach, and 3 miles from Sandpoint back to the lake. It's a fairly flat trail, a lot of boardwalks as you can probably see behind me, but I am booking it, trying to make good time, because when I got to the parking lot at the trailhead, there are quite a few people getting their packs on, ready to head out, and I want to make good time, get there before them, find the best campsite possible. So let's get in those miles. We're almost there. I can hear the ocean. Made it. This is actually the site that I stayed at last time, my first time backpacking. The next site over is probably the best as far as privacy, but there's already a hammock there, and the other sites either don't have good views or wouldn't work with hammock. So you can see the trail's right here. Man, that view is just too good to not do. I think we'll go ahead and make camp here. Just trying not to spook my visitors while I'm setting up the hammock. Pretty cool. That should do it. Buys me some privacy, and if I need to, I'll just flip the tarp over and stake it out. Oh, before I get in the hammock, I have to point out this awesome shirt that my brother made me for my birthday. He's an awesome dude, got awesome skills. Thanks, Mason. As you can see, it's still overcast. I'm hopeful that it'll clear off by sunset. I think I'm going to go ahead and make some dinner. I borrowed Adam's bear canister. Thanks, Adam. Tonight, nothing fancy, just some dehydrated mashed potatoes, pulled pork pouch, in case that's not good, some bacon ranch tuna. So my plan is to mix these in with the mashed potatoes to heat them up, but I'm going to try it on its own. Not bad. there's really not that much in there. It was like, I don't know, $1.50 or $1.80 at Walmart. But something new to try. Definitely better and way cheaper than dehydrated meals. Oh, and I also stopped at the gas station on the way out. Got a couple of these little packets of cheese, grilled cheese. I'm gonna piece it up and put it into the mashed potatoes. So I have like cheesy mash and pulled pork bomb, I guess you'd call it. All right, it's time to dig in. I will say I'm really leaning into this whole trying to find alternatives to the freeze-dried meals. They're just too freaking expensive. And they're not that good. I say that unless Mount House or Peak decide to sponsor me, in which case, delicious. But I think all told, I maybe have $4 in this. And if I brought the cheese from home, it'd be even less. I think I probably have like $2.50. Definitely beats $12 to $14. Let's give it a taste. Man, that'll do. That'll do. Especially if I bring a little like butter or olive oil and some hot sauce. Man, way better. And it's not the salt bomb that you usually get the freeze-dried meals. Man. Get on this, guys. Oh, I'm using the food saver bags. It's supposed to be boiling water safe. I don't know what the term is for that. But another way to go might be sous vide bags. But I feel comfortable eating out of these. And that way I'm not having to clean up a pot after the fact. I just put this in my little Ursac trash bag that I have and put it in the bear canister. But I'll heat it up using my homemade Reflectix pouch. Keep it warm. Yeah, man, it's going to be much cheaper eats getting out in the backcountry this year. I think I'm going to turn around, face the better view while I eat this. Let's go for a little walk. Despite the forecast in true Northwest fashion, it's starting to rain. I don't want to be wet in the hammock tonight, so I'm gonna head back. Now officially sunset. Didn't quite get the sunset I was looking for. Still a nice, relaxing evening here at the sea. It's always nice to get out to the Pacific, stare out, hear the waves. Really looking forward to high tide around 2 tonight. It's either 1:30 or 2. Either way, I'm sure it'll wake me up. Last time I stayed here, it was before I was a hammock camper, because like I said, it was my first backpacking trip. I had this little budget bivvy tent, which is still a pretty good tent, but I was set up in the grass over here to my right, and around, I don't know, 4 in the morning is when high tide was then. It was so loud, it woke me up. It made me scared that the tide was going to come up and take me away in my bivvy tent, but it didn't. But it's been a good night so far. Super chill. But I think I'm going to try to get up early tomorrow. And since I'm going to try to do that, I should probably get in the hammock. See y'all in the morning. Good morning. Man, I did not sleep well last night. I was having a hard time falling asleep, and I was about to get there, and around 12:30 a group came rolling into the campsites. Headlights going, because I'm right by the little creek and a little log bridge. And of course, people don't really understand at the time. Wherever you look with your headlamp on, the light's going. So of course, everyone as they're crossing is shining their lights directly into my tarp. So I understand coming in late, but man, you gotta be quiet. Tent walls are not actual walls. You can hear everything. So they get to the far end of the campsites, like, okay, time to settle in. About to fall asleep again, and they come traipsing back through to collect water. So I probably fell asleep around 1:30. Well, around the time that group came in, it was about high tide, so the waves were crashing. It sounded like the waves were about to get into my hammock. They weren't, but hearing the crashing of the waves made for pretty good sleep once I got there. Woke up a couple times. I could hear the sea lions. I could hear otters. All kinds of wildlife happening. This morning I can hear the sea lions down the beach. I was thinking about breakfast, but I don't know if I'm actually feeling it, which is a bummer because I brought some Cinnamon Toast Crunch oatmeal I was excited to try. Who knows, I may stop somewhere along the trail and set up, but for right now I think I'm going to pack up and hit the trail. All right, let's get moving. So this morning, we're hiking 3 miles south along the beach, which is not my favorite style of trail. Traversing over slippery rocks. It's pretty slow going. Last time I did a beach hike, I fractured my tibia. But last time I was here, I was unable to get down to some petroglyphs that are along the beach because of the tide. But the tide is low this morning, so we're going to take the beach route 3 miles down and then connect back up at Sand Point and go 3 miles back to the lake, which is where the car is at. So it's pretty slow going. That was really cool. When I did this hike the first time, I wasn't able to go down this section because the tide was in. And halfway point, there's this place called Wedding Rocks, and around it are a bunch of petroglyphs. I think all from the Macaw tribe. I was trying to find them when I got to Wedding Rocks. No luck. I saw some backpackers up on top of a little rock outcrop, so I climbed up there. They hadn't seen them, and so thought I'd scurry up further up onto the rock. Wasn't able to film because it was a little too steep. It wouldn't be safe. Did see any up there, came back down, ended up talking to those backpackers. Really cool people. They had started 2 days ago down at Rialto, been hiking up the coast the whole time. I can't remember where they said they were exiting. I think Shai Shai. If you're watching this and I have that wrong, forgive me. But y'all were really cool. It was nice meeting you. And then 2 Boy Scout troops showed up and they were pointing out the petroglyphs. So scurried along the rocks as they were finding them and was finally able to see them. Man, it's a good day. almost to Sand Point, which is the junction where it splits off and heads back to Lake Ozette, the last 3 miles of the trail. And this is the easiest part of the beach hike so far, a nice compressed sand instead of either sinking in sand or scrambling over slick rocks. Props to that group that I ran into going from Rialto all the way to wherever it was north. It's a strenuous trek, slow going for sure. Well, I overshot that junction as I was talking a second ago. I was right there. It's hard to see though. Well, at this point we say goodbye to the beach. And it is nice to be back on level ground. We are in the home stretch. Whew, we made it. Time to take off this pack. And I am craving a pizza and a beer or a burger and a beer. Either way, a beer is going to be involved. So, trip's not quite over yet. Well, that does it for this adventure. Had a great time. Glad you joined along. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. But until the next time, stay awesome.